Gamers! Welcome into another classic Calibi video. So in the past I brought you several 1-bar builds that focus on different weapon styles, like a 1-bar sword and shield build and a 1-bar 2-hand build. Check the description for those. So today I've got yet another in this series, and it's a 1-bar resto staff build for PvP. Now it would have been too easy to make this build a healer, so instead I turned it into a full damaging PvP build. That's right, you can rack up some kills with a resto staff in hand. It's so much fun to play. If you want the 1-minute build version, then check the link in the description, but if you want the full build, then stay right here. Let's get into it. Okay, so here we go. Here we have a 1-bar resto staff build ready for PvP, but it's not a healer, it's a full PvP build capable of dishing out the damage and getting some kills. So first of all, let's look at the stats. We have 37 points into Magicka, 27 into health. First thing I should probably say is we are a Nightblade. I've gone for Nightblade because I wanted to make this a crit build, because I think that was the best way we were going to get damage with a resto staff. So that puts us at 33k health, almost 22k Magicka, and 15k stamina. We have really nice mag recovery, especially with a resto staff when you get some heavy attacks in, and some nice stamina recovery too for dodge rolling and breaking free. If we buff up with the vampire passives, over 5k damage, 41% crit, and a huge 10k penetration. And then we have 23k spell resist, 20k physical resist, and 1.5k crit resist. So yeah, the race I picked was Orc for the extra damage and some movement speed. We have gone for the Jewels of Misrule food, which gives increased stamina and magic recovery and max health. You can use Smoked Bear Haunch, which is even better, but that's very pricey. And we are a stage 3 vampire as well for the Undeath passive, which is really nice on this build. If you don't know what Undeath does, it reduces your damage taken by up to 30% based on your missing health. So negating that much damage is huge, so it's really nice for keeping us alive. And we get Strike from Shadows, which increases our weapon and spell damage by 300 for 6 seconds when we leave Sneak, which is really nice. And then we are using the Thief Munderstone for extra weapon and spell crit. So let's get into the set. As you can probably tell from all of my buffs and the fact this is a 1-bar build, we've gone with Oaken Soul. Pretty much a go-to for a 1-bar build, gives you a huge amount of buffs so you don't have to keep reapplying, but you're limited to 1 bar. So paired with that, our main set we are using is Gourmands, which adds crit chance, damage, and then when you have a food buff active, which you should do at all times, your crit damage and crit healing is increased by 13%. So you get a huge amount of extra crit and some crit chance. Really nice on a Nightblade because of some of the other crit passives and crit damage that it can get. So this is the way to go. So we have this on the necklace, and then we have this on 4 body pieces. Now the problem with this set is it is a light set, which means you're forced to run light. So the alternative could be the craftable set Order's Wrath, which is just as good as Gourmand, but Order's Wrath gives you more crit chance but less crit damage. I prefer to go for the damage because 40% crit is enough, but it means we are stuck with 4 light. If you want to go for Order's Wrath and put some medium and heavy on, you could absolutely do that. So paired with that, we also have 3-piece Willpower. This is a set that gives you max Magicka and 200 weapon and spell damage. So this only comes in weapons and jewelry. So we have this on the resto staff, of course, because it's a resto staff build, and the last ring. So yeah, just because of the resto staff, we need as much damage as we can get. We're going to be using the resto staff to heal, and we're going to be using our sets to do as much damage as we can. Also, that means we have 1-piece Trainee in Reinforced for some extra defense. And then I've gone for the Balorg's monster set on the helm and shoulder. This adds weapon and spell damage, and then when you use an ultimate ability, you gain weapon and spell damage equal to the amount of total ultimate consumed, and physical and spell penetration equal to 23 times the amount. That means every time you use an ultimate, your damage absolutely skyrockets. So that is how we are getting our kills on this build. We are popping our ultimate and then just unleashing everything we have, and we just are unkillable because of the ultimate we're using, and we are just dishing out a huge amount of damage. So yeah, so that means 5-piece Gourmand on at all times, 3-piece Willpower, Trainee, Balorgs, and Oaken Soul. In terms of traits, I've gone for Sharpened on the Resto Staff. Let's charge that up. Sharpened on the Resto Staff. I've gone in 2 infused with damage on the jewelry, and I've gone 1 arcane magicka recovery. You could change this to infused magicka recovery, or even a swift if you want some extra movement speed, but I think we get enough on the orc anyway. And then on the body, of course, reinforced chest piece and legs for the extra armor, and then I've just done a mixture of divines and some impen as well. And then I've got tri-stat enchants on the body and legs for big pieces, and then 1 health on the helmet. And then just magicka all the way around. That one's a stamina, ignore that, it should be a magicka. So yeah, I've done magicka with the small pieces, 2 tries, and a health. So that's it for the gear, just the 1 bar, so not much to worry about. And also that means when we move on to skills, there's only 1 bar of skills to worry about. So I'll talk through the skills, and then I'll talk about how we do our rotation and stuff. First things first, we have Concealed Weapon, which does magic damage. This is our spammable, and if you strike an enemy from their flank, you set them off balance, which you should be doing a lot, attacking them from the sides or from behind. You do get a bit of a buff when you leave Sneak with Major Expedition, but we don't really have Major Expedition on this build. But we do have Minor Expedition at all times just for having it slotted. So I'm using Merciless Resolve. This is a huge damaging skill. It gives you weapon and spell damage every time you use a light or heavy attack. And then when you use 5 light or heavy attacks, it changes to Assassin's Will, which fires a bow that does insane damage and heals you for 50%. So this is going to be our main bursting skill. Takes a while to set up, but once you fire it off, it's going to be hitting hard. And then we're going for Shadowy Disguise. This is the cloak. This is how we stay alive. Makes us super survivable. And your next direct damage attack used within 3 seconds will always be a crit, which is nice. Then we're moving on to our heals. We have Rapid Regeneration, the Resto Staff skill. That heals for 13k health over 5 seconds. And the healing is increased up to 50% more on targets under 100% health. So pretty much everyone you're supposed to be healing. And then we've gone with Resolving Vigor, which is another heal over time, and 18 or 19k health over 5 seconds, and this gives you my resolve for some resistances as well. So why I've gone for both of these is because we have such high crit damage and healing and such high crit chance, there's more chance of each tick of these critting, whereas if we just had a burst heal, you just get 1 chance, right, of it critting. If it doesn't crit, then it doesn't crit. But if we have both of these healing over 5 seconds and they're both critting on some of them, then we fly back up to full health and become pretty much unkillable. So that's why I've gone with 2 of those, especially if you can get those both proc and then cloak, you're going up to full health no matter what. And for our ultimate, we're using Light Champion. This is another heal. This is the Resto Staff ultimate. So it heals you for 10k health every 1 second for 5 seconds. Again, making you unkillable. But the main reason we're using this is because any friendly target you heal gains major force for 7 seconds, increasing their crit damage by 20%. So that's a huge amount of crit damage. So what we do is we get our ultimate up, proc our ultimate, that makes us heal like crazy so we can't die, get a huge amount of crit damage, plus we get a huge amount of weapon and spell damage and penetration for using Balorgs, and then we just fly in, use some concealed weapons, fire our bow, and it's usually more than enough to kill people. So yeah, it gives us an insane amount of burst time, but we do only have it for a short window. But usually, burst is king in PvP, that's usually all you need. So yeah, that's what we've gone with. One thing I forgot to mention as well, because of the resto stuff, we get a lot of helpful buffs for keeping us alive. So first of all, if we use a heavy attack, we gain major mending for 4 seconds after completing a fully charged heavy attack, increasing your healing done by 16%. So that's an extra 16% healing, and we get minor mending from Oaken Soul as well, which is another 8. So that's 24% extra healing after we use a heavy attack. So if we do a heavy attack and then pop both rapid regen and resolving vigor, that's just an insane amount of heals, and nobody can out DPS that, so it's real nice. And also, increases the healing, and our fully charged heavy attacks, this is the one I make a lot of use out of as well. Fully charged heavy attacks restore 30% more magicka. So our magicka recovery could be higher, but literally just doing one heavy attack procs huge heals on us and gets us a insane amount of magicka back. So yeah, like this is why resto stuff isn't actually that bad, because it gives us a lot of heals so we can focus the rest of our build on damage. Okay, so if I show you this in action, literally all we do is proc our Merciless Resolve, get some light attacks in. Of course, you're going to be running around getting light attacks and concealed weapons. As you can see, it's not exactly low damage. And then once you have 5, you'll see it procs Assassin's Will. Then you hit Light's Champion, hit a couple of people, and Assassin's Will, 40k. So that's going to be hitting about 15, 16k to players, depending on how much resistances they have. And yeah, some concealed weapons, and then finish them off with the Assassin's Will. They've got no chance. So there you go. Last thing I'm going to talk about is champ points. These are pretty normal for any kind of Nightblade. Just the usual stuff in the green tree. Make sure you get break full to reduce your fall damage. We've gone for Master at Arms, increasing the damage done with direct damage attacks, so that's all the damage we have. Backstabber, increase your critical damage by 2% against enemies you are flanking, so an extra 10% crit damage on top of what we already get. Crit damage and crit healing again, an extra 8%. And Deadly Aim, increase your damage done with single target attacks, again by another 6%. In the red tree, we've gone for Celerity, increasing our movement speed. This is really nice. Juggernaut, while under the effects of crowd control immunity, take 1% less damage per stage, so 5% damage reduction. Pain's Refuge, reduce your damage taken by 2% for every 2 negative effects on you. It's just a good PvP CP. And Boundless Vitality, because I liked a tiny bit of extra health. There you go, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. And that's the build. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a good time racking up the kills with a resto staff in hand. Let me know how you get on. And don't forget to check out some of my other builds on the channel and subscribe to support. Thanks again everyone for watching, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.